He began to think about life, Mr. Davis, and think about what it costs to be a disciple. And as he thought about it, many people who desired to be great, growing up, I had this thing that I would always say that I was destined for greatness. There's some of you off in this room who've had that same mentality, that you've always felt that God was going to take you somewhere. That many of us, even starting out from a young age, we're entrapped into the system, because even starting out at a young age, we go from Head Start to 12th grade. We work our way up the ladder. There's an upward climb. That if you think about stuff from a social perspective, you have poor, you have the middle class, and then you have the, y'all talk back to me, it's all right. But when we think about this thing, when you begin to talk about numbers, you start from 0 and you go up higher. But here's what has happened. Unconsciously, many of us desire to be higher without first starting out low. That we desire nowadays to bypass 1 through 5 and jump straight into 100. That if many of us could get to the promise without going through the pain, we would be all right. And that's why it's funny, because God has a way of showing you a glimpse of where he's going to take you, but don't show you what you're going to have to go through to get there. Because many of us want to bypass the pain to get straight to the promise. Oh yes, we want the crown, but we don't want the challenges that come with it. And while we desire to be great, you better ask yourself, what is it that I'm really asking for? That as I desire to be great and I desire for God to take me higher, the worldly perspective of being great and God's definition of being great is two different things. For in the world, they say that to be great means about what you acquire. That if you got cash, cars, clothes, and creature comforts, that many of us try to label ourselves based off of what we have. But the problem with that is when you start to label yourself based off of what you have, you miss what's really important. Because God didn't make you based off of what you had. He knows what you are based off of what he's placed down in you. And too many times you try to judge what you are based off of what you're driving and what you're living in. But how many of y'all know what I live in ain't who I am, and what I drive ain't who I am? I am what God says I am, and I'm who God says. How about witness that when you understand that who you are is not attached to what you have on? That without you in the suit wouldn't be anything. Without you in the car still sits still. Without you taking the key and opening up the door, the house don't get lived in. That what you need to understand is that you all stop trying to compare yourself based off of what you have, and start saying, God, show me what you really placed on the inside of me. And as we've been dealing with this theme of being exalted and elevated, many of you started out this year, this is my year. This is my year for elevation. This is my year for recovery. Everything I lost, I'm getting it back. This is going to be my best year. Well, I want to put a quarter in the meeting part right there and challenge you on some stuff. Because as you desire to go great, there's a couple things that I need to share with you. Dr. King says everybody can be great. You know why? He said, because anybody can serve. He said, you don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You don't have to know Plato or Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. He says, you don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. He said, you only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. That if you really want to be great, you got to get your heart with some grace in it. Because as you think about going higher, God's definition of being great and the world's definition of being great is two totally different things. Do you have a heart to serve? And I'll make your name great. See, if you have a heart to serve, then I'll take you higher. Because as you understand that you are just an instrument to be used for my glory, I don't have to worry about you trying to become king on my throne. God help me preach this thing like I feel it. And could it be that the reason why many of us are still stagnated and still where we are is because we're still on the throne of our own lives and have yet to allow God to be the pilot and us move over into the back seat and let him take the wheel? Could it be that the reason why some of us have yet to reach that level of elevation that we've been trying to get to is because we keep thinking that it's all about us when it's really all about God? But when you can move out the way and say, God, I'm here. Use me how you want to use me. Take me where you want to take me. I'm your vessel. God, have your way in my life. I'm throwing my hands up. I'm waving the white flag. It's all yours. That when you understand that, that's when God said, I can really take you higher.